Hi everyone, David here from daviddumaisaudio.com, and today I want to share with you guys my not-so-secret sound design weapon tool thing. And this tool is S-Layer by Twisted Tools. So for anyone who's been in the sound design game for long enough, they've definitely come across this and have definitely used this. And if they haven't, they totally should, because this thing is super powerful. I use it quite often, and it doesn't do everything super well, but for what it does do and what it can do, it does really well, and it's really useful. So in this video, I kind of want to show you guys what it is, how I use it, and why you should use it too. So because it can definitely help improve your workflow and your work and your sound design. So why don't we just jump right in? So what is S-Layer? S-Layer is basically a layering tool. And for anyone who knows anything about sound design, layering is super important. Layering is like the number one thing, the number one most basic tool or aspect of sound design. Layering. So this is exactly what this does. It layers samples, and you can layer your own samples, which is why it's really powerful. You can drag and drop whatever samples you want in here up to 127. Actually, you can do more than 127, but it'll only pick from 127. And then you just drag and drop it in here. As you can see, I have a bunch of UI sounds in here and retro video game sounds in here. And I just drag and drop in there, puts it across the keyboard, and that's basically it. And now what it does up here, if you look at the sample area, it'll choose 8 different samples from the ones I showed. So if you let's start from the top here. So the top up here, this is just a visual representation of the sound. So if I play something, you can see the sound waves moving. It's just a visual representation. So, you know, if you're ever using and you notice like one's flat or something, then you'll be like, oh, how come that one's flat? Then you can go in and listen to it, or you can individually listen to whatever the sounds are, and you can go in and put up the volume or turn down the volume or mute it or whatever. So that's basically what I use this for, is just as a reference, just to kind of check up on the stuff. Down here, this is the parameter pages. Parameter pages, you have the sample, the start and delay. So how the start is where it starts in the sample file. The delay is like how long it'll wait until it actually starts the sound file. Pitch is pitch, pan, and volume. And yeah, like I said before, like you have 8 samples. It'll choose 8 samples from across the keyboard. And if you can look here as I'm moving them, it's going to choose a different sample. So right now it's at sample 72. As I move down, now it's picking sample 74, 70, 58. And that's the samples it's choosing. And it's the same thing for all of these. Like, what is this here? Oh, it's not moving because I have it set lower. Yeah, but same thing for all of these. Like you can choose here, pitch, you can go down to 24 and up 24. Pan, you can go all the way left, all the way right. Volume all the way up and all the way down. So kind of how you would expect it to be. But yeah, so it chooses those, and then it layers them together so that whenever I play something, you get a sound. And what's cool is that now I can go and I can change the samples like this, and I get a totally different sound. Cool. Let's do something else. Something else. Now what's really cool is instead of having to do that every single time, you can actually press the red button, which is down here. And there you go. It randomizes, and you can get a whole bunch of random sounds really quickly. And now I hope you start to see why this thing is so powerful, because you can get so many different kinds of sounds really fast. And then right now, like I've only uploaded like UI sounds. Like if you think about how powerful this is, like I've used this for like a whole bunch of stuff, like explosions. You can see on the side here, I have explosions, swing sounds, sword sounds. I have a whole bunch of other stuff like UI sounds, monster sounds, magic sounds, like whatever you can think of, you can just put it in here. And as long as you're like uploading the same kind of sounds, like for example, like UI, if they're all like short, you'll get all similar sounds, right? And you can play around with that. So really powerful. So that's what it can do. Another thing that's really powerful about this is you actually have the big randomize button up here, which actually randomizes whatever you click on for the orange buttons here. So all these, anything that's orange, this one button will randomize all those things at once. So you can see here, I have it all set for the effects for the envelope of the sound. These are, well, they're not set right now, but I could set it if I wanted to. But right now I just have it set to decay. And extra, I don't really touch this window here, but yeah, so with one click I can affect everything. And there you go. And another thing that's really powerful about this is actually you can shape the sound to exactly what you need. So like I said before, like if you have a UI sound, it's short, then you can just go in the envelope here and you can use these whatever they're called down here. And this parameter here, what it does is it keeps the decay to within these numbers. So right now it's set to 32 and 48. Let's say we leave it at that, 32 and 48. Whatever I push here, if I push it to the max, this top one to the max, it's going to be 48. If I put it at the bottom, it's only going to be 32. So that's why this here is really powerful, because no matter what it is in here, it's just going to keep it between 32 and 40, whatever I had it at, 48, 49. Yeah. So it's going to keep it at that. But you can do that for like every parameter, like sample, pitch, pan, everything. So anyways, for now, we're just going to do decay because we're talking about UI sound. So if I'm doing a short UI sound, there you go, because I kept the decay short. If I put the decay really long, you can see it's a really long sound. But I don't want that because I only want UI sounds. I can keep it short. I can make it shorter. I can do whatever I want. So you can like really shape the sound to whatever you want, whatever you need, which is really powerful. Yeah, what else should we talk about this, man? This thing is so good. Okay. Another thing. Yeah, these wrappers here. These are also great because you can quickly go through and just move through sounds like really fast. So it's kind of like the random, but not really, because it's keeping all the samples in the same position relative to each other, but just moving them up or down depending on where you go. And then you can set these to whatever you want. I normally have them set. I normally have them set to sample, pitch, pan, and volume. That's just what I change the most. That's why I keep these here. And then I just immediately learn them, and then I can just use it from my keyboard, and that's what I do for that. So another thing that's really cool and that I use all the time is this down here. It's this transpose button. So if you don't transpose, basically you're playing with these 8 presets. So down here, I should say these are 8 presets that you have. So if I press like middle C, C3, you get preset number 1. If I press C sharp 3, C2, D3, and you get the picture. You just go all the way up to number 8. But if you press transpose, now if I go up, I stay on the same preset, but now everything's pitched. So I have the whole keyboard to play with, which gives me so much more variety in my sounds. I can go. There you go, just playing up and down the keyboard. Now these are kind of crazy sounds, nothing I would necessarily use, but you get the picture. Like if you can get whatever sounds you're working on, and maybe you're getting a sound that's maybe too high pitched, well, you put transpose on, you can just move down and you can get something that's really useful that you might not have come up with if you hadn't done that. So it's really great for that. And yeah, of course you also have an effects page, which you don't need to have on, but you just turn it on here, this little button here, and then you can put it in there, and that's basically it. So now they all have effects on. Now none of them have effects on. Yeah, so like if you think about it, like creating these kind of UI sounds or sci-fi UI sounds is super easy. Right? So basically all I took, like I said before, like in here, all I dropped in here were my UI sounds that I created, like using synths. I just put in some UI sounds, and then I can create more and more UI sounds as I do them, re-import them in, and then keep on creating more and more sounds. So it's like, it really helps your workflow. If you're ever like, you need a lot of sounds, this is like a really great way to do it. If you ever need layers for sounds, this is another way to do it. Like one of the things I use, let's see if I can find it. I think it was here. So I have a kick. I have a kick preset that I can just put in here. Don't save. Okay. Well, it's not finding them right now, but yeah, it's not finding the samples. But anyways, like if I have a kick, so I use this as like a bass or a punchy sample that if I ever need like a punchy or whatever kind of sample for my gun sounds, I can just come in here, create some, like my own unique kicks, and find something that can add a lot of punch or a lot of bass or whatever to my gun sounds if it's missing that kind of pop or punch or bass. So that's something like really easy you can create. Yeah, I mean, like pretty much anything that you can think of, you can create. And the biggest thing I would suggest whenever you're working in this is to kind of save your presets and then shape the sound to what you need. So like if you're doing a monster roar, import all the monster roars that, like, make sure they all start at the very beginning of the sample of the sound file, and then keep them kind of the same length. So if it's, I don't know, if it's like a 5-second sound, like make sure they're all around 5 seconds, and then import them in, and they'll all be similar, and then you can create a whole bunch of other similar ones, and you'll come up with things that you've never come up with before. So that's pretty much it for this video, I think. I mean, maybe I can show you guys some other stuff that I come up with. Let's see what we can do. Like, these are kind of sword sounds that I came up with. They're not all great. And that's one of the, I guess, downfalls of this plugin, is that a lot of the sounds that you create, they'll start to tend towards sounding the same, which is like, whatever. It's not great for that, but it's really good at creating a whole bunch of sounds and randomizing those sounds. So. I mean, like you can easily come up with a sound that sounds good. And these are all like basic recordings that I did around my house. This is nothing complex. It's just easy recordings I got put into here, and then you can randomize and create some cool stuff with it. Right? So just a few examples. Why don't we just go through some other stuff? Like, what is this? Let's see what this is. Doesn't really work with those. Right, so you kind of get the picture. Like, you can easily come up with a whole bunch of stuff, and then what I would do is, like, if I find the sounds are like too wide, like they're too much to the outsides, like for the panning, for example, I'll set it to like 30 and 70. Usually that's decent. If the pitch is like weird, and like you find like if you're pitching up, it sounds weird, then you just don't do any up pitching, just do down pitch shifting, and then there you go. You got stuff like that. When you're doing gut sounds, another like kind of tip here, like use the delay here, so it delays the when the sample's going to play by like something like between like 10 and 5 and like 15, and then you can get some really cool sounds, because it's going to like delay each impact, so it's going to sound really powerful. Anyways, just a little tip. Maybe I can show you guys, but I'm pretty sure I don't have it available here. Yeah, I don't have it, but yeah, just a quick tip for you guys for that. And yeah, I think that's like pretty much it. Like, it's really powerful. If you're not using it, just go get it by Twisted Tools, twistedtools.com. And I think it goes for like $69, something like that. It's totally worth it. Totally worth every penny at full price. It's really powerful. And yeah, I think that's pretty much for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys go out and get it and use it, and it helps you guys out in your workflow. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.